In the last few developer streams for Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, the upcoming MMORPG by Visionary Realms, we've gotten a good look at a class that hasn't really been featured by them yet, and that's the Enchanter. While the most recent Cohh Carnage stream was from the perspective of the rogue, if you were watching carefully, there was a ton of things that we learned about Pantheon's Enchanter class. And then, in the newsletter released last week, we got some more specifics. In this video, I'll highlight every Enchanter spell and ability we saw in the stream, and what the newsletter told us about them. It's important to note that everything shown in this video is from the publicly released content, as all other content is under strict NDA. And also bear in mind that Pantheon is currently in pre-alpha development, so this information in the video is not set in stone. But with that in mind, let's check out what we learned about Pantheon's Enchanter class. Here's how the Enchanter is described at PantheonMMO.com. Like the current of a raging river is the pull of an enchanter on the mind of their adversaries. Through a single word, the enchanter can turn the intent of an enemy and break even the strongest of wills into submission. Whether through trickery or coercion, the enchanter is adept at controlling the battlefield and forming order out of chaos. The first spell I want to highlight is Prismatic Torch, no pun intended. From the newsletter, we learned that this spell conjures an orb of prismatic fire to serve as a light source. During gameplay, we saw how this spell created a hovering light source. Now initially, the Enchanter, played by Adam Tehom Mostel, VR's associate game designer, summoned it for himself. And we got a good look at it through the stream as it sat on his shoulder, and it really did appear to have a prismatic visual effect. But there was a surprise in store later in the stream when Cohh was discussing the lighting effects, and Tehom kindly offered to provide him with a light source. So we learned that Prismatic Torch can be cast on your allies too. It's a quick casting spell which appears to last quite a long time. So it's a great utility for the Enchanter, and I think it'll put them in high demand, especially for those stealthy rogues that just want to explore. But if Prismatic Torch doesn't make the Enchanter a valuable class, the next spell surely will. And that was Whisper of Tysir. According to the official website, Whisper of Tysir floods your group with the Whispers of Tysir, increasing the rate of mana regeneration. And the mana regeneration was very significant from what we saw. Watching the stream, we could see that this made a big difference when it was applied, versus the few brief instances when it was not. I think everybody who's played EverQuest remembers how useful Clarity was. We also saw a spell called Mind Clamp, which Tehom often casts at the beginning of every battle. This one isn't listed on the website or in the newsletter, so it was a matter of careful observation to parse out what the spell did. From these clips, we can see it has a 2-second cast and appears to deal damage over time to the mob, which makes casting it at the start of battle a logical thing to do. Similarly, we saw Commanding Will cast at the commencement of battle. It isn't clear from the stream what effect it has, however. Once both these spells were cast, the most common spell, Rend the Mind, was chain cast by Tehom. This one we do know what effect it has, as it's described on the website as follows. Rend an enemy's mind, dealing magic damage and restoring some mana to your group. We can see the cast time was 4 seconds, and it appears to be castable in quick succession. Of course, if you're going to do this, you should expect the mob isn't going to like you very much, and we saw Tehom get the mob's attention this way a few times. There were a few spells we only saw used once or twice, and consequently we don't know too much information about them. One was Echo Persona. Fortunately, the newsletter tells us that this spell echoes the combat prowess of a friendly player, morphing this ability into a new skill determined by the target's class. When Tehom cast it on stream, it came up as Persona Shaman, which we see here. So he was targeting Chris Joppa Perkins, VR's creative director, who was playing the Shaman. Now, it wasn't clear what shaman skill was borrowed in this case, but later on you can see that it actually added an icon to his name bar in the group window. How this works exactly is really interesting to me, and I wonder if you get a random skill, or how long it lasts, and then if Enchanter targets a wizard, can they then throw firebolts? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Another spell that got revealed in the newsletter is called Gift of Inspiration, which instantly restores X mana to an ally. I only saw Tehom cast this twice during the Cohh stream. Once was during the final confrontation with the Thief of Eternity, and he was trying to get one of his groupmates some mana back. The animation looked pretty good, and I could see the spell being a lifesaver when the healer's nearly out of mana at a crucial moment. Speaking of amazing animations, Mana Guzzle. This was a 10-second channeled ability that appeared to help Tehom recover some of his mana really effectively. You can hear Tehom comment that he's low on mana here, leading him to cast Mana Guzzle.
Yeah.
I realize our Enchanter's low on mana, but I've got a cooldown now, so no interrupt on the next one. Someone else have to get it. Or hide.
Yeah, he's got Mana Guzzle. Yeah.
I'm getting it.
Watch out!
Yep. One.
I love how this spell looks, and if I were the Enchanter, I might just be casting it to impress people at parties. Another one-time cast was Shire's Disenchantment. We know almost nothing about this spell, except that when Tehom cast it on stream, he was heard to say, dispelling that.
Eternal Battle. Okay, this is the inflicting physical damage. Oh, that's me. Okay.
Yeah, dispelling that. Alright, that's gone.
So if it's a mob dispel, it'll certainly be a handy tool for the Enchanter class. But we've talked about the Enchanter for far too long now without mentioning their whole reason for existence, and that being to enchant things. Although on the website, their Mez spell is called Fascinate. During the stream, when it was cast, we could see it's called Enthrall. Assuming it's the same thing, this is what it does. Mesmerizes an enemy, incapacitating them. Any damage will break the effect. We got a ton of looks at it, so we know it's a quick casting spell and it lasts quite a while. The ticking clock animation over the enemy's head does a really good job, in my opinion, of illustrating the essence of the spell, and when Tehom got multiple mobs locked down, it was quite the sight. I thought the stream did a nice job of demonstrating that while the Rogue may be a short-term solution for handling multiple mobs, the Enchanter is the one that does the heavy lifting when it comes to crowd control. I've purposely saved what I consider the best part of the Enchanter's abilities for last. Spell Turn was the coolest Enchanter ability we saw by far in my mind. The newsletter told us it interrupts your target. If your target was casting, absorb that spell, allowing you to cast it for yourself in the next 15 seconds.
Watch out!
Oh.
That was ours. That was ours.
Yeah, that was mine. I stole that.
Yeah. Talk about that
Me
for a
out
second.
there for a second.
Adam, talk about that ability.
Yeah, so Enchanters have now gained the ability to spell turn, so they can actually interrupt an enemy's spellcasting and turn that ability back on them.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Basically steal the ability and use it at their whim.
You could tell Tehom was excited to show the power of this ability, and he stole quite a few different spells from mobs. Here he steals Wrath of Wraiths from an Elthiran striker. In this clip, he steals Elthiran Light, to which Joppa comments, "Nice spell steal." But I think his favorite was stealing Unmortal Surge, the self-destruct ability of the Wraiths, because he actually did it quite a few times.
These are higher level versions of, like, the Evoker is a more powerful version of the Mana Weave.
That is a cool looking spell.
Our Enchanter just stole it.
That is pretty badass.
How long do you hold on to that spell, Adam? After you steal it?
Right now, only 15 seconds, but that is something that we're continuing to evaluate, and there will be opportunities to improve that through our mastery system as well.
Wait, 15 seconds? Did you steal that from the boss we fought, or did you steal that from the mob that we were just fighting?
I stole that from the mob.
Oh, from the mob. Okay, cool.
It's also likely that the reason he did this was due to the spell's interrupt ability, as Purge was deadly if it wasn't interrupted. The animation actually shows the spell traveling from the mob to the Enchanter as we see here, which makes it just that much cooler. The Enchanter is shaping up to be an amazing class, with a ton of cool tricks up their sleeve from what we were shown. Kudos to Adam, Tehom Mostel for taking it to the next level and giving us a great demonstration of the class. While I'm still a ranger through and through, don't be shocked if you see another Enchanter in Terminus come launch day. What did you think of the Enchanter? Leave a comment and let us know. If you've enjoyed this look at the Enchanter, remember Pantheon Plus is all about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, so if you want more content like this, check out our other videos, our podcast called The Rewind, and our Twitch channel. There's links in the description to all of that, and hey, if you like what you see, we hope to see you back for more. Until then, cheers, and thanks for watching.